So, how is Sudarshan Kriya connected to the awakening of the energies represented by the Saptamatrikas? Yes, Jai Gurudev, Sudarshan Kriya purifies the nadis and activates prana in all layers of the body. Each matrika corresponds to a particular chakra and energy center. When Kriya is practiced regularly, one experiences the unfolding of the Divine Mother's energies. Brahmani in the crown or Sahasrara and Vaishnavi in the heart or Anahata and so on. The Saptamatrikas aren't just mythological, they are psycho spiritual forces awakened through breath, devotion, and stillness. The Kriya thus becomes a living invocation of these Shaktis. Now, what role do Nadi Shodhan Pranayama and Trikal Sandhya play in connecting with the Saptamatrika? As Nadi Shodhan balances the Ida and Pingla nadis representing lunar and solar energies of Shakti and Shiva. In Trikal Sandhya, when we recite the Gayatri and offer Arghya at dawn, noon, and dusk, we align with the universal rhythm. Each matrika governs a specific direction and time of day. These daily practices connect the practitioner with the cosmic mothers not as external entities, but as internal guardians who sustain, protect, and transform. It's subtle yet very powerful. Now, how is Upanayanam and Sandhya Vandanam at the Gurukul related to invoking the blessings of the Saptamatrikas? Yes, Upanayanam is a sacred thread ceremony, a gateway to knowledge and spiritual discipline. The Saptamatrikas are protectors of this spiritual journey. During Sandhya Vandanam, students chant mantras invoking divine forces. With proper awareness, each mantra becomes an offering to these matrikas who bless the seeker with intellect, discipline, and purity. In the Gurukul, these rituals are not mechanical, they are deeply meditative acts empowering the children with inner strength that is nothing but the grace of the Divine Mothers. Now, what role do pujas and homas play in evoking the power of Saptamatrikas during festivals like Navratri? Yes, during Navratri, each day is dedicated to a different Devi or aspect of Shakti. The Saptamatrikas are worshipped through elaborate homas like Durga Saptasati Homa, Navachandi Homa, and Sapta Shakti Aradhana. These rituals activate the protective and healing energies of the Divine Mothers. Fire offerings with mantras invite their presence into the lives of devotees. In the ashram, thousands participate physically and virtually, and many share experiences of deep emotional release, visions, or healing, all signs of Shakti awakening. Now, how do art of living programs like Sahat Samadhi meditation, Padma Sadhana, and Shakti Kriya help in experiencing the presence of Saptamatrika? Yes, Sahat Samadhi leads to transcendence where the subtle feminine energies emerge naturally. Padma Sadhana prepares the body as a lotus seed for divine energies. Shakti Kriya especially is a direct invocation of cosmic power. Each Kriya and meditation touches the layers where Matrika energies reside. Practitioners often report seeing visions of goodness or feeling immense strength, grace, and devotion. These are signs that the Matrikas are active in your system not as mythic forms but as living experiences of Shakti. Now, how does the wisdom from Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar Jesus' talks and books connect with the essence of the Saptamatrikas? Gurudev often speaks about balancing the masculine and feminine within. His books and talks emphasize honoring intuition or Kaumari and discipline or Maheshwari, and compassion or Vaishnavi and fierce love or Chamunda. These are the inner matrikas. Gurudev's wisdom doesn't separate mythology from practice. It brings it alive in our breath, behavior, and awareness. He says Shakti is not somewhere outside. When the mind is still and the heart is open, you feel the presence of the mother within. That is Saptamatrika. Now, can you elaborate on the symbolism and qualities of Brahmani, the first of the Saptamatrikas? Yes, Brahmani is the Shakti of Lord Brahma, the creator. She symbolizes wisdom or speech or vak and sacred knowledge, seated on a swan and holding a water pot and Vedas. Brahmani embodies Saraswati-like qualities but with protective motherly force. In the Gurukul, children invoke her before beginning Veda chanting or scriptural study. Her presence ensures clarity of mind, purity of intention, and receptivity to knowledge. Brahmani's energy is subtle yet strong. She is the silent force behind every pure thought. Now, how is Vaishnavi understood and invoked in the context of art of living practices? Yes, Vaishnavi represents the nourishing, preserving aspect of the universe. She is the Shakti of Lord Vishnu and embodies balance, compassion, and discipline. In daily life, this means being grounded, steady, and dharmic in the ashram. Her presence is honored in Lakshmi Narayan temple rituals, especially during Fridays and Ekadashi. Children are taught to maintain balance in their emotions and behavior, qualities that reflect Vaishnavi. Even in Seva, her energy inspires humility and gracefulness in action. Now, what does Maheshwari represent and how do students in the Gurukul relate to her energy? Yes, Maheshwari is the consort of Shiva, the embodiment of supreme consciousness. She rides a bull and holds a trident, showing her commanding spiritual strength. In the Gurukul, Maheshwari's energy is invoked during silence, dhyana, and mantra chanting. She helps anchor the mind in stillness and self inquiry. When children sit for Sahat Samadhi or listen to knowledge talks, they are guided into the inner space where Maheshwari's grace removes ignorance and awakens inner detachment with compassion. Now, how is Indrani or Aindri relevant to students and sadhaks in the art of living ecosystem? Yes, Indrani or Aindri is the Shakti of Indra, the king of the gods. She symbolizes courage, leadership, and control over the senses. At the Gurukul, students who show a natural tendency to lead are taught the balance between assertiveness and humility. Aindri blesses with inner confidence and clarity. Her energy is also invoked during Rudra Homa and other protective rituals. Even during Padma Sadhana, her force may be felt as a rising willpower that breaks laziness or doubt. Now, who is Kaumari and what lessons does she offer to young seekers at the Gurukul? Kaumari is a youthful Shakti of Skanda or Kartikeya, representing celibacy, strength, and sharp intelligence. She rides a peacock and symbolizes purity and fierce focus. In Gurukul, her presence is most felt during early morning practices and during chanting of Skanda related stories. Kaumari teaches the children to be firm in their values, pure in heart, and unwavering in sadhana. Her youthful dynamism mirrors their own energies, helping them channel restlessness into spiritual strength and learning. Now, what makes Varahi unique among the Matrikas and how is she honored at the ashram? Yes, Varahi, the Shakti of Lord Varaha, boar avatar of Vishnu, is a fierce guardian goddess. She represents the power to uproot negativity and protect devotees in the ashram. Varahi is honored in protective homas and in Chandipat, where her mantra is chanted to remove obstacles. She is invoked when students face fear, insecurity, or confusion. Her energy is grounding and fierce like a divine mother saying, I will not let you fall. She brings transformation through courage. Now, Chamunda is often seen as the most fearsome Matrika. How is her energy approached in the art of living space? As Chamunda is a destroyer of ego, the slayer of demons, Chanda and Munda, she rides a corpse and symbolizes the transcendence of death, fear, and delusion. In Art of Living, her energy is respected through deep silence, advanced sadhanas, and homas during Navratri. She doesn't just remove outer negativity, she burns inner impurities. During Shakti Kriya or deep meditation, sadhaks often experience catharsis, release of fears or grief. That's Chamunda's cleansing presence. Gurudev teaches us to embrace this as grace. Now, how do children in the Gurukul experience these goddesses beyond rituals through discipline, lifestyle, and culture? For children in the Gurukul, Saptmatrikas are not abstract forms, they are living presences guiding their behavior. For instance, waking up early and doing Sandhya Vandanam invokes Maheshwari's discipline. Sharing with friends reflects Vaishnavi's nurturing. Asking questions in class with clarity mirrors Brahmani's wisdom. Even helping in the Gaushala channels Kaumari and Varahi's strength. The lifestyle is woven in such a way that every matrika becomes a value and experience a whisper of the motherly divine. Now, what final message does Gurudev give about Saptamatrikas and their place in spiritual evolution? Gurudev reminds us that the Divine Mother resides within us in many forms playful, strong, wise, silent, and fierce. The Saptamatrikas are not just ancient deities, they are inner energies we must awaken. Through sadhana, seva, and satsang, these powers blossom. He says when the feminine is honored, life becomes celebration. Whether it's a chant, a kriya, or a moment of stillness, the Matrikas are always near, nurturing us on the path from duality to divine wholeness. Now, could you share specific mantras used to invoke each of the Saptamatrikas in the ashram? Yes, each Saptamatrika is invoked with her Bija mantra and a Dhyana shloka. For example, Brahmani is Om E Brahmaya Namaha for wisdom, Vaishnavi is Om Shri Vaishnavaya Namaha for preservation, Maheshwari is Om Shri Maheshwaraya Namaha for spiritual strength, Aindri is Om Krim Indrai Namaha for courage, Kaumari is Om Skam Karmaya Namaha for youthful energy, and Varahi is Om Varavarahi Namaha for protection. Chamunda is Om Cham Chamundai Namaha for destruction of negativity. These mantras are chanted during Navratri and during Yantra Pujas in the Devi Hall. Now, are there yantras associated with the Saptamatrikas and how are they installed or worshipped in the ashram? Absolutely, each matrika has a geometrically designed yantra representing her vibration. These yantras are energized and placed during Shakti Sthapana rituals in the Devi Hall. These yantras are worshipped with kumkum flowers and deepa during Navratri, and sometimes even weekly Devi pujas. The Chamunda yantra is especially placed during Chandi Homa and Maheshwari yantra during Guru Purnima. These sacred geometries serve as gateways through which devotees connect with subtle divine energies. Gurudev has emphasized that devotion with awareness of the yantra can lead to profound inner experiences. Now, what is the role of Chandi Homa in evoking the presence of the Saptmatrikas? Yes, the Chandi Homa is one of the most powerful homas performed in the ashram during Navratri. It involves the chanting of Durga Saptasati, which details the slaying of demons by Devi with the aid of Saptamatrikas. Each chapter narrates their appearance and actions. During the Homa, offerings are made to the fire while evoking and invoking each Matrika's name. Devotees feel waves of energy, peace, or release during the process. The fire becomes a symbol of the Mother's transformative grace, burning ignorance and activating divine power within. Now, how does the Navratri celebration at the ashram reflect the presence of Saptamatrikas in ritual and devotion? Navratri is when the Saptamatrikas take center stage. Each day represents a specific goddess and aspect of Shakti, often aligned with the Matrikas. For instance, Kaumari on Skanda Shastri, Chamunda on Ashtami, and Vaishnavi on Vijayadashmi from early morning Devi Kavacham chanting to Sankalpa Homams, Yagyashala Pujas, and Devi processions. The entire ashram reverberates with Shakti. Children from Gurukul also enact stories from the Puranas. Gurudev's evening satsangs during Navratri decode these symbolic stories, helping devotees internalize the power of the Divine Mothers in daily life. Now, how are daily rituals in the Devi Hall connected to Matrika energy beyond festivals? Every day in the Devi Hall, Devi Abhishekam, Archana, and Trikala Arti are performed. During Abhishekam, the priest mentally invokes the presence of all seven Matrikas using specific Dhyan mantras. Lalita Sahasranama and Devi Mahatmya chanting create a vibrational field where their energies are invoked not just symbolically but as a living experience. Even during routine archanas, flowers, and mantras are offered to each matrika individually. Over time, devotees begin to feel which goddess they are most aligned to, a form of devotional resonance unique to each person. Are there stories or teachings from Gurudev that reveal hidden truths about the Saptamatrikas? Yes, Gurudev once shared that the Saptamatrikas represent seven layers of the mind, from emotion and memory to intellect and intuition. In a satsang, he said, when you embrace all aspects of your mind, be it logic, emotion, fear, valor, you invoke the Saptamatrikas, then your mind becomes a temple. He interprets the ancient myth in a deeply psychological and meditative way. Through this lens, the battles the goddesses fight are not outside us, but inside against our ignorance, restlessness, and doubt. His teachings bridge ancient symbolism and modern spiritual practices. Now, how do advanced art of living practices like Shakti Kriya deepen connection with the Matrikas? Shakti Kriya is a powerful pranic activation technique designed by Gurudev to awaken Kundalini energy. Each phase of the Kriya corresponds to awakening one or more Matrika principles. For instance, the sudden burst of energy mirror Chamunda's fierceness, while the subtle phases invoke Maheshwari's stillness. Participants often report visions or feelings of divine feminine presence, unplanned, unimagined. This is the living presence of the Matrikas responding to the inner purification after Kriya. Silence becomes deep and the mind naturally rests in devotion and reverence. Now, how do children at the Gurukul learn to embody the values of the Saptamatrikas in day to day life? In the Gurukul, teachings are not just theoretical. Children learn the qualities of each Matrika, wisdom from Brahmani, compassion from Vaishnavi, and stillness from Maheshwari, and so on. These are linked to daily behavior, discipline in waking up, silence during meditation, and respect for teachers, courage in challenges, and cheerfulness in seva. Every action is a doorway to invoke these energies. Even during group discussions, children are asked which matrika would respond this way. This constant reminder helps spiritual values become real, not imposed, but joyfully lived. Are there specific days or tithis when individual matrikas are especially worshipped at the ashram? Yes, for example, Maheshwari is especially invoked on Mondays during Shiva Puja, Vaishnavi during Fridays as part of Lakshmi Puja, and Kaumari is honored during Skanda Shashti, Chamunda during Ashtami or Krishna Paksha Navami, Brahmani during Guru Purnima and Saraswati Puja. On these days, special chants, offerings, and sometimes mini homas are performed. The rhythm of the lunar calendar is aligned with these devatas, which strengthens our inner cycle with the cosmic rhythm, a deeply Vedic and Tantric principle that the ashram honors sincerely. Now, finally, What does the worship of Saptmatrikas mean for a modern spiritual seeker in Art of Living? For the modern seeker, the Saptamatrikas are inner guides. They are not distant idols but living energies. Courage, intuition, serenity, love, clarity, protection, and transcendence. Through Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, knowledge, and rituals, we engage all seven dimensions. Gurudev often says the Divine Mother walks with you, not behind or ahead, but within. Worship of Matrikas brings balance in relationships, strength during trials, and grace and success in a world of noise and distraction. They help you remain centered, radiant, and fearless. That is their gift to us. Now, can you describe the origin story of the Saptamatrikas from the Devi Mahatmya? Yes, the Devi Mahatmya narrates that during the battle between goddess Durga and the demon Shumba and Shumba, the Devi gave rise to the Saptamatrikas from her own body. Each Matrika emerged as a feminine counterpart of a male deity to battle specific asuras. Brahmani fought with intellect, Vaishnavi used her discuss, Maheshwari spread silence, and Kamari led the divine armies. Ainri used thunderbolt and Varahi uprooted demons. Chamunda slew Chanda and Munda. They represent both cosmic and psychological forces aiding in the destruction of ego and negativity. Now, how are these stories taught or dramatized at the Gurukul for children? Children at the Gurukul often enact these stories during Navratri and other festivals using music, chanting, and storytelling. Each student represents a matrika and narrates her origin, weapon, and role in the battle. The emphasis isn't on the violence but on the inner symbolism. How to face fear like Chamunda, use wisdom like Brahmani, and stay grounded like Varahi. Gurudev Gurukul teachers explain these stories as metaphors for the battle between clarity and confusion, truth and delusion. The kids absorb it naturally through play, performance, and mantra. Now, are there any specific guided meditations in the Art of Living tradition that invoke the Saptamatrikas? Yes, advanced courses sometimes include Devi meditations where each chakra is visualized with the corresponding matrikas as form and energy. For example, Brahmani in Sahasrara bringing calm and intellect, Maheshwari in Agya activating intuition, and Chamunda in Muladhara burning fear. Gurudev guides such meditations in silence or subtle words, allowing seekers to experience, not just visualize, these divine aspects. Even in Sahat Samadhi meditation, people have shared the certain matrikas appear in dreams or visions. These aren't imagined, they are deeply connected to the prana field, awakened through Kriya and Sadhana. Are there other scriptures apart from Devi Mahatmya that reference the Saptamatrikas? Yes, the Agni Purana, Matsya Purana, and Varaha Purana, the Skanda Purana all reference the Saptamatrikas. The Tantric texts like Rudrayamala Tantra, Kularnava Tantra, the Matrika Bheda Tantra go even deeper, describing their yantras, mantras, and bija sounds. In Shaiva Tantra, they are seen as guardians of the directions and energies of the chakras. Gurudev often integrates these teachings in simplified language instead of esoteric terms. He speaks of balance, courage, intuition, and grace. The very energies the Matrikas represents. That's the beauty of this path. Ancient truths made accessible. Now, what is the deeper spiritual meaning behind the Matrikas slaying demons like Chanda, Munda, and Raktabija? These demons are not external. Chanda represents impulsiveness, Munda symbolizes pride, and Raktabija, whose every drop of blood created clones, represents repetitive patterns and addictions. The Matrikas are aspects of inner awareness that slay these tendencies through intellect of Brahmani, discipline of Maheshwari, and fierce grace of Chamunda. In the ashram, this is experienced during Sudarshan Kriya when mental clutter dissolves, or in silence programs when subconscious patterns break. So the stories aren't just heard, they are lived through inner purification and Shakti awakening. Now, how does the symbolism of the peacock, lion, buffalo, and bull, the vahanas of the Matrikas, influence meditative imagery at the ashram? Jai Gurudev.